Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is current Lights Out Championship lightweight champion, Abe Alsaghir. Hello, Abe. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, sir? Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for taking the invitation. A few weeks ago, you won a lightweight title in Lights Out Championship. If you can tell me, how do you feel becoming the champion for the first time?
You know, I was the Lights Out Championship amateur lightweight champion. That was my last amateur fight. I became a double champ that night, and then after that, I went pro. And then 1 year later, I put my hands on the lightweight pro title. It felt amazing, especially 3 weeks ago, I went in against a veteran, and I came out with a second round finish.
And because of his experience, do you feel that he may present some maybe some traps, maybe some tricks?
Yes, because every fight that we've watched tape on him and everything, one fight he's a southpaw, one fight he's an orthodox, one fight he's wrestling, one fight he's sitting on the back foot. We're expecting him just to be like how he did the last fight, and he wasn't like that at all. He put the pressure on me. I was on my back foot, and I had to fight off my back foot the whole time.
But overall, it was another very good performance from your side. And of course, you defeated, except him, some good fighters. It was Kobe Woodall and Jerome Featherstone. So I think that it is another good fighter to like your resume.
Correct, 100%. I'm glad I'm fighting prospects. You have some guys don't start fighting these prospects 7, 8 fights in. I fought Kobe Woodall. I fought Jerome Featherstone, who knocked out UFC fighter Matthew Sellenberg. He knocked him out. And then my last opponent, Jimmy, he's never been finished in 32 fights, and I was the first one to finish him in 32 fights.
And training to this fight, was it any difference, like training for the pro title fight?
Yes, usually my camps are around 8 weeks, 7, 8 weeks, all that. This camp was around 12 to 13 weeks. It was a lot of work. I got a lot of help from people around me. Uh, it was the pace was different. I was ready. Like by Wayne was Friday morning. By Thursday night, I was already on weight and just waiting for Wayne's.
So I believe that 12 weeks training camp is quite long, like because it's usually I believe like 8 or 10 to
Yes.
prepare for the fight. So this one it was like a very like
Yeah,
long one.
it was a longer camp. I mean, it was 5 rounds, and Jimmy was never stopped. He wrestled 4 years college, and I was expecting to go 5 rounds because it's hard to finish him. And I went out not even looking for the finish, and I think that's why it happened. I just wanted to win the rounds, put my hands on a belt, and then first round I had secured 3 takedowns, uh, with all cage control time, and then second round was all striking, and I went and got the finish at the end of the second round.
And probably for your confidence, it's like because of course the fight was not in the full distance, but you have the like confidence that you can go for 25 minutes because you prepared for this for so many weeks.
Oh yes, 100%. After the first round, I got back to the corner. I was sitting down, and I'm like 4 more rounds to go in my head, because the first round I had 3 takedowns, all that control, and the takedowns were big slams as well. So I was just waiting. I'm like 20 more minutes of this, and then the belt was mine. This is all I gotta do. And then I come out in the second round. I started landing. I didn't even shoot again. That was it. I just kept it striking and then put it a finish.
You are a very busy fighter. You like fighting like all the time. It like feel that way. And when would you like to fight again?
I'm ready for the contender series that when starts up in August. If they call me, then I'm ready right now. Uh, if not, I'm 22. Next year is perfect for me. Looking at myself when I was pro debut 1 year ago and my last fight 2 weeks ago, such a big difference. So if I get 2 or 3 more fights, maybe defend my belt or anything, that would help me out so much.
And actually, you didn't lose any of your fights, either as the amateur or the pro. And do you feel any like maybe stress, maybe additional pressure that you never lost the fight?
Yes, I mean it's a lot of pressure. It's putting a lot on the table every time. I'm on an 11 fight win streak. I'm putting that on the table. Like forget the belt, forget everything. It's what I'm putting on the table. I'm going out. I'm 22 years old. I've been in the sport for 2.5 years. Uh, and I'm just ready for whatever. Like between fights, I grapple. I do all that. Next week, I have a grappling match on Saturday. And then August 2nd in Abu Dhabi, I'm trying to get on the ADX, the grappling tournament. Uh, I'm trying to get on that August 2nd in Abu Dhabi. If they accept it, then we go ahead with it. If not, then I just keep getting ready because I believe uh, from August to September, if I don't get the call, I'll be defending my lights out belt.
So you are like really busy guy with the taking the all opportunities that you can
Yes,
get.
it would be amazing because I mean next week is just a regular grappling match, open mat jiu-jitsu. Uh I would really like to get on the August 2nd in Abu Dhabi, the ADX, because it's an MMA cage. It's wall work. I can use the cage. I can do everything that and I would like to cut to my weight class because weigh-in is the day before. It's not just a jiu-jitsu match. It's everything. It's the only thing that's taking away is the punches. So I would like to get on the ADX.
And I believe that on their previous shows that they had like UFC veterans, UFC fighters. So it's like
Correct.
big
They had
big.
Terrence McKee, Sawadi, the guy that just got in from the UFC. They got everybody, and they put on shows. They just did a show in Paris.
So it would be a very good for your like exposure to be with this kind of
Yes,
fighters.
100%. If it's possible to get on ADX, even if they offer me a UFC fighter, I'm 100% willing to take it because it's a grappling match, and I would like to challenge myself against any a UFC fighter that would like to grapple.
And let's talk about your beginnings in the sport. What was the first combat sport that you ever train?
I started kickboxing last year of my high school. I was 17. I started kickboxing and Muay Thai. I had two fights, and after that, I graduated high school, and I didn't train for 2 years because I left for the military. I was in the United States military, and then I went when I came back. I started MMA right away.
I thought that maybe you have some wrestling experience because
No,
you are very good with your takedowns, with the like pressure, with the like controlling and ground and pound your opponent. So I think that it will either the wrestling may be your first sport.
no, I was never into wrestling. I never did sports. No football, no soccer, nothing. I started uh basically just kickboxing a little bit, and then it wasn't nothing serious. But when I left for the military and I came back, my career went serious, and I made my debut for XFC, and it just took off.
And at what point did you think that you will be a pro MMA fighter?
So first fight, it was too quick. I had my amateur debut. I had a too quick of a fight. I didn't have no grappling at all. Like I would even say it now. If I would have got taken down in that fight, I would have lost that fight. I didn't know no wrestling, no grappling, nothing. And then I go ahead and then go fight my second fight. It was a quick one too, another knockout. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just good on the feet now. And then third fight, I get tested on the ground. I come out with an arm bar. I'm like, oh, it's starting to kick in. And then I fought my fourth fight is that's where I got really tested. That was my first decision because the first three fights I had first round finishes. I got tested in my fourth fight. I went to decision. Then after that, I had two finishes for the belts. So that's when I knew like I didn't even need my sixth amateur for the belt, but I just wanted it to reconfirm everything before I go pro, and I went go ahead pro last April.
And actually, about your grappling, you have a very good guillotine choke because I believe that you have a free finishes in the amateur and SD Pro. So it's probably a very good move from your perspective.
Yes, because I mean, I try to uh give it like uh tire people out, give it like basically wear them out, tire them out, and everything. And then the guillotine opens when people get tired most of the time. If people are tired, they get lazy on it and they open it up. I started doing it a lot in the gym. Once it opened up, and then my coach had to perfect it. Like every time someone shoots at me because I didn't know takedown defense at first much, I would go for guillotine, 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 and then it got so much better. In the Jerome fight, I had him in the guillotine that I jumped up. It was a really tight one, and then he managed to get out of it. Uh, Basically every fight I've had, I've actually tried going for a guillotine.
But you of course have a very good results with this. So it's like a very good thing to have in your pocket, let's say.
Yes, 100%. Like I even if I don't have it, sometimes I jump for it because it's like basically you're like going for stuff. It shows judges. It shows everything. Like even if I don't have it, finish the round with a guillotine. Maybe I have him in the guillotine for 20, 30 seconds, and then I come out on top. The judges see, oh, it was a submission. He was close to finishing the fight.
And what is the main gym that right now you are training in?
Detroit Jiu Jitsu Academy.
And do you have any sparring partners like you, like top level prospects that can be future stars in the sport?
Yeah, we my brother is mostly my main guy. My older brother, he's still an amateur, but he's not an amateur. I'd say it to everybody. Uh, and then my coach Ali Hamka, he's fought more than 100 Muay Thai fights in kickboxing. Uh, but he's one of my main training partners. He coaches me and is my partner at the same time. And we have a lot of guys that come in and out as well that help out. Uh, I mean, once I have a fight confirmed, we try getting people same style as opponents to help me out and stuff. So people come in and out sometimes.
And when you are in the training camp, do you focus on the like strengths of your opponents? Like if he is a very good like boxer, do you like prepare for the boxer, or you prefer to be focused on your training, your improving yourself in all areas?
Both. I first off, I prepare to sharpen me up as much as I can. I become as sharp as I can and ready as I can for the fight. But by like when I'm sparring, when everything, we try to get everybody similar to the opponent, but I don't follow for their game plan. I still follow my game plan against my like basically same similar style as my opponent. Like if he's a boxer, I don't sit there and box. I go ahead and do either kickboxing or take him down or whatever the plan is. I go ahead. What I follow the game plan.
And right now you are still a very young fighter for lightweight division, and I think that you have many great years in the great years in the sport. But if the UFC will not contact you, but it will be another bigger organization like PFL, like One, would you be also interested in going to one of these also big promotions?
We have been contacted by big promotions. The goal is the UFC. Uh, I'm young. I don't want to go somewhere else, grow with that company, and then go to the UFC. I would like to grow with the UFC, grow around all the people in there. I'm 22. If I go to another organization, I'm gonna have to get used to that organization, everything, and then at the end switch back over to the UFC. That's not my goal. My goal is the UFC, and that will be it.
So probably also the like UFC title is on your mind.
Oh, 100%.
And when you are thinking about your future, about like UFC going to the promotion, going to the rankings, when would you like to see yourself being, let's say, a contender, the challenger in lightweight division?
Like I would like to break into top 15 from now to 5 years. If I get signed this year, I would like to start building my rankings up. I would like to take my time. I'm not gonna be one of those prospects that I'm undefeated. I'm all that. Oh, I'm start calling out the champion. Respect to the champion. Respect to the top 15. They're the best in the world for a reason. But I would like to build my name up in the rankings. I'll take it as slow as I can. In 5 years from now, I would like to be breaking into top 10 in the world.
And do you have a fighter in the UFC that you would like to face?
Uh, I wouldn't say anybody right now I would like to face. My focus is now either the contender series or defend my belt. I'm not looking at any. By the time I get there, that fighter might be gone. That fighter might be different weight class. Fighter might be anything. My job now is to focus on what's next, which is either contender series or defending my belt, and I'm ready for either or.
And for now, you have like 11 fight experience, and of course, the many years experience. And when you are thinking about possible the style that can present problems for you, that possible can defeat you, what kind of style would you think about when you are thinking about this kind of concept?
I mean, I really don't think about it that way. I'm well experienced as well, man. I can stand with some of the best strikers in the world, and I've experienced it at the gym. I've experienced it outside. I can stand and hold my own, and then I can wrestle too. It's not like I can't wrestle. And if people take me down, I can submit people. So I'm a MMA fighter. I'm not just a wrestler. I'm not a striker. I'm not just a jiu-jitsu guy. I do it all.
And do you have like your favorite UFC fighter to watch?
Probably Charles Oliveira.
Yes, he's like super entertaining and he's one of the probably very few guys who is dangerous from all of the positions, including from his back.
Correct. Correct.
Uh,
He's up there, one of the best. Done it all. Been at the lowest part of the game. Been at the toppest part of the game. Uh, he's a really good guy.
And I think that his story is quite interesting because he made his UFC debut in probably 2010, and he was a prospect. Then he lost some fights, and I think that many people think about him as the fighter with potential, but who will not be a champion, not be a top level guy. But after this, he did something amazing, and he became a champion.
Correct. Him. Brandon Morero was one of them. Uh, Alex Volkanovski came up top. He's a good, really good prospect. I mean, all these guys. Now Bilal Muhammad, he's Palestinian. He's going for the belt. I mean, Amir Albazi is number 2 or number 1 in the world at 125. He's one of the top guys. Like the Arabs are starting to get in there.
And current champion right now in the UFC in lightweight division is Islam Makhachev, and because he defeated so many good guys, do you think that there is any fighter right now in the UFC lightweight division who can beat him in next maybe 2 3 years?
No, nobody will ever get on the level that Islam is. I mean, he showed it in the last fight. He has that dog in him. He showed that he's the champion for a reason. I don't think anybody in the top 15 at lightweight will touch him.
Yes, he is like dominating his opponents, and even with Charles, it was on the paper. It was for me, it was a very interesting fight. But when it happened, it turned out that Islam is just probably at this night just much better fighter, and he
Correct. I
defeated
mean,
him.
he's Khabib. He's one of the best to ever go through the lightweight, and then Islam took after it. They go in there, dominate. Islam is good on the feet, good at submissions, good at wrestling. He's a well-rounded fighter. He's one of the best in the world.
And like we of course know that the sports combat sport or even overall sport is very good for young people, but if you can like give advice for young people who wants to train, either to be MMA fighters or just to train for their health, what kind of advice would you like to give them?
You just have to show up and push yourself to the limit. Your body sometimes might tell you to stop. You just push it more and more and more. And if you want to take it seriously and make MMA your career, it's a whole different level, and you have to be ready for it.
There are so many aspects of the game, of the sport, that is like you have to like be very committed to do this.
Oh yes, 100%. It starts being on a being in a 12-week camp, dieting. Let's say 11 out of those 12 weeks. Uh, it's one of the hardest things to do. Like training is hard, cutting weight, all that. But being on a diet while everybody at home is eating, everybody at work, all that stuff, it makes a difference.
And when you are before your fight, when you have a like few hours to the fight, do you feel any like stress that you will be fighting against another very skillful mixed martial artist?
I mean, everybody. If you don't have nerves, then something's wrong with you. But uh, I've faced the top guys. Everybody's nervous before their fights. Again, I'd say I'm putting too much on the table. I fight in my hometown. A lot of people show up for me, but at the end of the day, when I go out, it's my job to get things done and then get my hand raised, and that's what I do.
And when you are thinking about your like MMA career, but but also your life, uh, if you were not a MMA fighter, if something happened and you couldn't do it, who would you think would you be as the like in your occupation as the professional?
If I wasn't into MMA at all, or if I
I-
now stop.
no, if you before, if you would not be MMA fighter, when you would not like start kickboxing and then training MMA.
I probably just would have continued in the military. Because I did 3 years and I got out. I would have continued and had my own business. But I've always wanted to do MMA, and then here it is. It clicked in.
Okay, Abe. So many thanks for the conversation. I hope that you will get either the contender series shot or maybe a chance to defend your belt, and after this in next year we can see you in the UFC.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on.